Please, after the actual meditation, I mean, try to sit still, you know, during the speaking part of this. It's still a meditation class. So don't fidget and or inorganic movements. Is there any?
Hi, Yuma. I feel so sleepy when I'm almost falling down or something. Is that I have to fight back with the sleepiness?
Matsuma, I can't understand you.
Oh, okay. I feel so sleepy. I feel so sleepy, I'm almost going down or something like this. So that I have to fight back for sleepiness or?
Now, look, there are two answers to that question. First, you might be tired. You know,
Yeah.
the meditation will open to that area where the tiredness is, and you feel sleepy. The second, and I think a more important answer, usually when a person is that like that, look, on the other side of that sleepiness, on the other side of that lethargy, there's always a major opening. Something really important can happen to you. And, frankly, I always kid around and say, if somebody screamed fire, there would be enough adrenaline to have no problem getting up and running out of the room. So we succumb to the sleepiness. And yet, if we go deep enough inside ourselves, we can get past the sleepiness. And on the other side of our sleepiness is usually some major kind of opening. It could be just resistance to taking a new step in your life. Could be just being tired, but it could be the other. And I think if one really attempts to take the meditation a little deeper, open more, do maybe a so-hum exercise while you're sleeping, feeling that sleepiness, it's going to go away. It's going to go away. And it's, a natural thing that happens to everybody. We all get tired. I mean, it shouldn't be a major drama if we feel sleepiness, if we feel a little tired inside. And what I try to do always when I feel that is to take it a little deeper, to open a little more. Because I've learned after so many years of doing this meditation, often that sleepiness is just resistance to major growth, major opening inside oneself. As I said, if somebody was sitting in a room and somebody screamed fire, people would not be sleepy anymore. Everybody would have adrenaline. They would get up, they'd run. You have to climb, 12 flights of steps. You'd climb 12 flights of steps. So maybe we need to scream fire inside. We need to open to what the next level, that we're ready to go to. So I wouldn't worry about it. There are a number of ways of dealing with it. If you're still tired, then get a good night's sleep tonight. Tomorrow you'll be just fine.
Thank you.
I mean, laziness, sleepiness, sometimes, resistance to a whole deeper level of inner consciousness. And there's always going to be resistance to deeper levels of consciousness. There's always resistance to anything that demands that we have to change. There'll always be resistance. So the resistance, as I've said many times, is not an unhealthy thing. It's just telling you you're ready to change. That sleepiness doesn't have to be an unhealthy thing. It's just telling you might be ready to change, to go through a whole major change inside yourself. We resist it. I don't know, people are like that, But I learned through years of doing this that resistance is not negative. Resistance is just a reminder we're ready to grow. We're ready to move to a whole new level in our lives. It's when we succumb to it, when we give up and we say, oh, I can't do it, that's when our system really becomes like stagnant water inside. So I always say before the meditation, one has to truly prepare for the meditation. Overcome sleepiness. If you're sleepy, then take a shower, walk around the block, do something that really wakes you up. Watch a funny movie, do something that will wake you up. And you'll discover that you have so much energy that's buried behind tiredness, behind sleepiness, behind lethargy, behind boredom, there's just tons of energy buried behind these conditions that people allow themselves to get embroiled in, and these conditions take over our lives. But it doesn't mean that at night you don't get a good night's sleep. Sleep is very important. It refreshes the body, it refreshes the mind, it refreshes everything. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? I've been talking a lot, well, I've been gone a lot, but I've been talking a lot, both in the class in Europe and the Middle East and here, and about this whole, experience of opening to receive Shakti, opening to receive literally the food of God, the manna that flows from the heavens into all of our chakra systems, if we learn how to keep them open and receive it. And I've been talking a lot, and I think it's so important that it really represents a whole new level of this teaching that's come to me, that has to do with the fact that the energy of God, that manna that flows from heaven, that, this is not positive and negative energy. It's not, what happens is this pure energy, this energy of spirit flows into us. And, human beings, in their lifetime create personalities, they create anger, they create fear, they create insecurity, they're victims, they're, guilty. And all of this stuff runs rampant inside people. So the energy is transformed in people into that. And that's what we offer the world: fear, insecurity, guilt, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what meditation is all about. It's transforming, that almost incapable being that exists inside of people into a chakra system that's strong enough to receive that energy, and allow that energy to flow through and to manifest in the world as love, as joy, as compassion, as consciousness. And you so often, well, how could God create such a terrible world? I can't spend my time blaming God. I mean, how do human beings create such a terrible world? The energy of spirit is a pure, energy. It's an energy that really is nurturing and loving and pure. And it's when it enters inside human beings that it manifests the way it does in the world. So we as people have to truly, we have to truly understand our responsibility is to fix ourselves inside. Mm-hmm. Is to develop a chakra system that's strong enough to receive that energy and to allow that energy to accumulate in the heart. And then when we live in the world and open to the world, it becomes kindness, it becomes love, it becomes joy. And ultimately, I always say this, and I'm not kidding, happy people are enlightened people. People that can live every day of their lives with joy and love inside them. You know, and I don't mean 5 minutes a day or when it's convenient or when they win the lotto or something great happens to them. I mean, when they're taking out the garbage, when they're washing dishes, when somebody around them is upset. You understand? They have a system inside that can sustain ananda, that can sustain happiness. And that energy of spirit will flow into them and it will be given to the world that way, not as some insecure person who's a victim of life. Nobody is a victim of life. We blame life because we don't do work deep enough in ourselves to transform all of this conditioned behavior that happens to us from the time we're born. You know, giving us false images of what real security is, giving us false images of money and, you know, the house and the car. And I mean, I would, drive through, I live in a place where there are really many, many kinds of mansions and wealthy people live. And you know that what goes on in those houses, is a manifestation of how spiritually evolved the people are that live in those houses. So I think this is the responsibility of anyone who sits down and practices meditation, practices inner work. It's the responsibility of people that teach, whatever they teach, to truly understand their responsibility is to help develop chakra systems inside people that are strong enough, to be able to transmit kindness, love, joy. Not as a superficial personality type thing, but truly one is a child of God. One really, it's God that speaks through that simplicity, that love, that nurturing. And never to sit around thinking, well, it comes in polar opposites to me. No, it doesn't. We transform it into polar opposites. And this is a really new level of the teaching that I've been, it's come after so many years to recognize this kind of reality. And then when a person accepts this kind of thing, they take full responsibility for their life. I can transform. I'm angry at somebody, I can transform it. I can build a system that can transform it. I'm judging other people. I have opinions about, I have an ego that wants to control the world. I have all this stuff that creates madness in the world. This is not God. These are human beings. And the wonderful thing about all of this is we can change. We can develop a system inside that can truly change. That's the work of Rudy's work, of, whatever it is, So many different forms of inner work in this world, But whatever it is, it has to truly go to that kind of depth. Please try and sit still. Really, if people move, they're scratching, fidgeting, it really disrupts the class. And I'm tired of telling this to people. By now, everybody should know this. So if you have an itch, go Go center yourself in the chakra below the navel. I promise you it will go away. It will go away. You will learn how to get stronger than an itch. You can't be stronger than an itch. How are you going to have a spiritual life? Well, you got to have strength that transcends all human conceptions of strength in order to open to God and higher energy in the universe. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question, Chris. Stuart, I've heard you say, and I've read that Rudy said that Nityananda really was a living spirit of Ganesh, of Sri Ganesha, and that he taught change. And is the kind of change you're talking about, it sounds like. Is that correct?
No, Chris. I never sat with Nityananda. He is my grandfather. He has come to me in the most dire situations and taught me how to get through them, how to grow because of what was. And he comes to me today. But I don't know about what he did, what he taught, what he was. I mean, I tried to once read a book he wrote. I couldn't get through it. I made it, you know? And I don't know. All I know is he is always there for me. You know, he is always there for me. He's a guardian spirit that really helps me through getting through and I'm talking some situations that were impossible, where I maybe had 3 months to live. That's how dire those situations were. And it was Nityananda and Rudy and a few other teachers that set up protective walls of energy around me to keep these things from doing, so that I can be doing what I'm doing today, teaching on this level, you know? So I don't know, Nityananda's Ganesh and, you know, yeah, I love Ganesh. He's wonderful, he's playful, he overcomes obstacles. I'm not a Hindu.
Right.
You understand? I'm not a Hindu. I don't have religion that way. I mean, I certainly have had enough Ganeshas in my life, probably more than any Hindu on the earth. You know, I've had so many Ganeshas in my life. But to me, more importantly, is having teachers in the cosmos that really work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not whether they're Ganesh or they're Shiva, or who cares, you know?
Yeah, I see.
That these teachers work for you, they help you overcome blocks and, you know, and again, look, I have been in India more than many Indians, you know, so many times. You know, and I have seen all this stuff. I've been to temples all over India. I've dealt with Indians, you know, business and this and that. I mean, they translated my books in, you know, in India, you know, in Mumbai, you know, a big publishing company translated a couple of my books there. I used to give lectures there, and I'll never forget. You know, I gave a couple of lectures in Mumbai. Big crowds of people were there. And afterwards, people would come up and they would kiss my foot and say, Baba, thank you for bringing back to India what we've lost. I don't know whose phone that is, but please. Somebody turn their phone off. Huh? Thank you for bringing back to India what we have lost. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. This is the place where it all comes from, for God's sake. Even Buddhism comes from India.
Yeah.
You know, Hinduism comes from, well, maybe the Middle East, but certainly is all over India, you know? Islam, I'm talking about Islam, not Hinduism. So what I'm saying is it's not Ganesh, it's not Shiva, it's not Vishnu, it's not Brahma, it's not Indra, it's none of the, you understand? I mean, it's having teachers in the cosmos that truly are there as protective spirits. And they work for you every day of your life. And whether Nityananda was a manifestation of Ganesh, yes, it's probably true, but who cares?
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
Yeah. That's really great, Stuart, because change, I am asking every day for change, you know? And thank you for explaining that. That's really great.
And, you know, change will come. And not so much by putting, you know, rubbing Ganesh's nose. I used to do business with a bunch of Indians, you know, and they'd have big statues of Ganesh in front of their galleries, you know, and they'd go in and, you know, and it was all about making money.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with a spiritual life. They would rub Ganesh's and pray and bow to, you know, in order to make money. I knew these guys and I knew them very well. They were kind of friends of mine, you know? It was all about making money. Ganesh was there for one reason, wealth, material wealth. Now, that's all right. You know, material wealth is necessary. People should have it. It enables us to live well and to overcome certain obstacles that life presents to us, like eating. Coming to retreats. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you.
Well, just to announce to you all that I had a lot of difficulty this week with this retreat, and it looked like a complete nightmare, actually, what was going on, you know? And I fixed it. It's all fixed. The kinks are taken out. We're moving forward. A number of people have dropped out. If anybody who hasn't signed up wants to come, you know, there's space. You know, you can, you know, you can let me know and I'll have Jennifer get in touch with you and give you all the information. But it's all been worked out. All the kinks are worked out. And those people at Stony Point are just truly wonderful people. They really are wonderful people. And they like this group. They keep telling me, we really like your group. And they go out of their way to help us make things happen. You know, it's very good. So the retreat is going to be held. I was kind of worried this week. Will it take place? You know, and it's all worked out. Okay. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I mean, get a little statue of Ganesh and rub its nose every day and probably will attract money into your life. I'm not kidding. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there'll be a class again on Sunday. I'm looking forward to you all coming. I'm very happy to be back. I mean, I'm very happy to be sitting here with all of you and doing this and allowing this work to grow and get deeper inside myself and hopefully to share it with all of you so that you can build your lives and develop chakra systems, understand that are strong enough to have a spiritual life. So God bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you very much.